that could be a hugely positive surprise for India and Indian companies.
All right, Nilesh, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Great speaking with you here on the program on CNBC-TV18. Thanks indeed for that perspective. Well, let's move on. REC is the next company we are going to be speaking with. We reported, and this is a CNBC-TV exclusive, this is a clarification which our colleague Sapna Das put out yesterday. REC will continue to be a PFC company. The Power Ministry has rejected REC's proposal of selling PFC stake to Power Grid. I mean, there was a lot of market movement in the Power Grid stock on the back of it. Markets did not like it. But I think yesterday there was a big reversal which did come through after this clarification which we put out. We have Mr. R. Lakshmanan, Executive Director at REC, now joining us to talk to us. So thank you very much. Good morning. Great to have you with us here. Could you tell us a little bit about the background to this story? I mean, where did this really come from? Was there a serious consideration which did take place? The Power Ministry considered this and then looking at the merits and demerits rejected it. Just a bit of background, sir.
In fact, PFC acquired REC stake, what the government was holding, I think in 2018 December. And after that, overall, REC has been functioning as a subsidiary of PFC. However, government was having direct control on REC. And in the meanwhile, there were options that were explored. In terms of who else could be a suitor for REC, but in balance of things, I think yesterday Ministry of Power took a call that status quo would be maintained.
So it was given a serious look, and then it was decided to kind of keep it as a subsidiary of PFC.
So probably Ministry would be able to comment on that better in terms of how it was evaluated and what. So from our position, I think it will be difficult to comment on that.
Okay, Mr. Lakshmanan, good morning. But is this still on table or is this now off for good?
I think as per yesterday's clarification, I think it is off.
So now REC remains PFC subsidiary and will continue to operate like that.
Yeah, that is the position.
Okay.
Nothing changes with regards to the business, right? Just trying to understand what is the outlook now on the power sector, because renewables are gaining some bit of pace. What do you see as the way forward?
In fact, overall, REC has been trying to diversify its current portfolio mix of lending. The Q1 had a 48% increase in our renewable disbursements. And going forward, I think there is a lot of focus on the overall net zero business that is coming up and the climate transition that is happening. So that is one space where a lot of diversification is being planned going forward. And the other thing which is happening is we got our Maharatna status very recently. So that also improves the financial and operational autonomy for REC as a company. So that will also help us, push forward in terms of diversification. And another key development which has happened is in terms of the object clause amendment, so which now allows REC to look at the infrastructure space as a whole rather than power sector alone. So that will also throw up a lot of opportunities for us to grow and diversify.
So on an average, what kind of disbursements do you see? If you look at the breakup in Q1, the generation space was under pressure, both quarter on quarter and year on year, although renewables did very well. Transmission, distribution also was under a bit of pressure. What would the average disbursement growth be for the full year?
For the current year, I think Q1 has been a little bit of slow, but Q2 is, I think, would be better than what Q1 was. And full year, I think, it's difficult to give a guidance, but then it should be much better than the last financial year as a whole.
No, overall, what kind of numbers? I think just to go back to the proposal which has now been rejected, this power grid thing, one of the things was to increase the share of PFC and REC in terms of lending to the power sector, which was about 24-25%, which before the merger, before the acquisition of the stake by PFC, it still is, combined share is still around there. Has there been, yesterday, have you heard anything from the Power Ministry to kind of step up lending to the sector? I mean, and what are targets for you looking like now?
Current year, I think one of the major initiatives of Power Ministry is the late payment surcharge rules, wherein we are supporting the states and discoms which need a transition funding. So that is a business opportunity which both REC and PFC are looking at and supporting. And other key thing would be for the current year would be the revamped distribution sector scheme, wherein close to 2 lakh crores worth of sanctions have been rolled out. So there is a business opportunity for us in terms of doing the counterpart funding for the scheme. So these are two major things where the government's objective is, and we are also supporting it. But otherwise, in terms of diversification, I think we have sanctioned a major loan to Mumbai Metro. So that is a first project for the metro segment that we have done. And similarly, like the Nuclear Power Corporation, we are in advanced talks with them for sanctioning one of their projects. And similarly, like Kerala Investment Promotion Board. So there are multiple infrastructure projects which we are supporting them with. So these are some of the major projects that are coming through in this current year. So going forward, I think the next 3 quarters should be better than our Q1.
Okay. So that's for the 3 quarters. But Mr. Lakshmanan, in general, you can see that the power sector, which went through without any investments for a good decade or so, is now beginning to see a lot of investment. So structurally, do you see better times for you? The next 5 or 6 years, do you see to be better than the last 5 or 6 years?
One thing which is happening is in terms of the overall as a country, the commitments that we have towards greening of the grid and the energy mix transition that is happening. So that's a space where we see a lot of investment that is likely to happen over the next 5 to 7 years. And that's a space where we are building our capacities and strength also. And similarly, on the newer technologies and energy front in terms of energy storage, both in terms of farm storage and battery storage, and even we are looking at projects on the EV side. Then further on green ammonia and green hydrogen. So we have started looking at a couple of proposals. So these are spaces which are exciting, and we believe over the next 5-7 years there will be a lot of opportunities that will come our way.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the exposure that you have to discoms? Because, there is a lot of pressure over there. How much is the risk in terms of what is the kind of credit risk that you see because of your exposure to discoms?
As of Q1 end, our distribution exposure in terms of the loan book is close to 39%. And out of that, I think close to maybe 15% would be towards non-capex. So, and out of that non-capex, I think close to 90% is guaranteed by the state government. So that in terms of, even in terms of the RBI guidelines, so that is that gives us a good comfort in terms of risk-weighted assets. And in specific cases where we find that the distribution companies are stressed, so we have taken the commitment of the state governments to even service the loans. So that actually covers our risk in terms of where we find that they have any stress on their cash flows and balance sheet. But the positive thing is in the financial year 22-23, the discoms across the country they are putting their things in order, especially in terms of the tariff. If you see all the major states have got their tariff orders out. So that is 90% of the states have got their tariff orders and even the true-up orders in place. And most of them have got a tariff hike also. So this is mainly on account of the revamped distribution sector scheme, which has certain set of pre-qualification conditions. And it also pushes for cost-effective tariff. States like Tamil Nadu, they have got their tariff order, I think, after a gap of 7-8 years, and they've got a 6% tariff hike. And they've also put in place a multi-year tariff with automatic escalations. Similarly, Andhra got a 10 to 12% hike, Telangana around 13%. So these are good signs and which will strengthen the cash flows of the distribution companies. And another key thing which I would like to add is in terms of the revamped distribution sector scheme, the states have committed with the backing of their state cabinets, that close to 110,000 odd crores of the subsidy receivables and the government department dues that are receivables to the discoms, they would be liquidated over the next 4 years. And in terms of that, as we stand today, like FY22-23, states have made budgetary provisions in their respective budgets for liquidation of the current year installments. So these, couple of things, and plus, the finance ministry has an additional 0.5% borrowing in terms of GSDP to these states, which is linked to power sector reforms. So last year, 12 states had participated in that, like the major states, like which are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Assam. So they've committed that they will take over the losses of the discoms, whatever is the financial loss year on year, in a graded manner. So current year they will take over 60% of the last year losses. So this again is a
Mr.
financial
Lakshmanan,
support.
sorry to interrupt you there. No, so this is great news for the sector overall, because distribution losses have been a big thing, right?
That's right.
Dues payable, etc. But it's still a political subject. Are there enough with this the distribution revamp scheme, the late payment surcharge? There are, I think you mentioned another scheme as well. Do all of these put enough guardrails that discoms don't once again, states don't once again fall into financial indiscipline? I mean, are there enough guardrails against it? Does it ensure it, in your opinion? Briefly.
I think so. Like all these things taken together, I think there is enough, framework for the discoms and the state governments to, be on track. And the last 2 quarters are, indication if it is anything to go by. In fact, the late payment surcharge rules, when they kicked in, the number of defaults were quite high. And today, like hardly 2 or 3 discoms are under regulation, and rest are paying their dues on time. And whatever installments were to be liquidated. So last 2 months, the installments have also been liquidated by the distribution companies.
Mr. Lakshmanan, how is the LPS, the late payment surcharge? You said it's an opportunity for you as well, because you convert these dues into EMIs, right, for discoms?
Yeah. So basically, the arrears which were outstanding as of June 22. So there we have supported 5-6 states, both REC and PFC. In terms of helping them liquidate it in the next 3 to 4 years, depending on what is their trajectory.
Okay, Mr. Lakshmanan, we'll leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining in and giving us an update on the business. That is REC. The market, by the way, is still holding up almost about 92 odd points. The Sensex up 340 points. We'll get to our special segment, charting trends, on the other side of the break. Gautam Shah